Let's take you to this now. The ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has officially opened the party's Lekgotla in Boksburg, east of Johannesburg. The Lekgotla follows the ANC National Executive Committee meeting. The Lekgotla will focus on the ANC's 6 priorities in its 2024 elections manifesto. To discuss this further with us, we're now joined by Natasha, Phiri, SABC News reporter, who is on the ground in Boksburg. Natasha, good morning. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Let's perhaps start with President Ramaphosa's speech this afternoon. One, bemoaning and lamenting the party's performance at the election poll, but also refocusing what their priorities in government will be as deployees of the ANC into government. What were some of the key takeaways from that?
Well, thank you so much. Apologies for that. But you're quite right, Oliver. It was a brutal inspection or reflection by the ANC about their electoral performance. Remember, this is something that we spoke about yesterday at the last day of the ANC NEC. The ANC dropping to 40% from 57% in 2019. The ANC losing its majority in provinces like Gauteng, in KwaZulu-Natal. And basically the ANC president, just saying that this is actually quite glaring of the governing party, and now the ANC wants to actually work towards regaining its support in its municipalities where it actually has lost support, like Johannesburg, like Tshwane, like the Nelson Mandela Bay. So this is a high priority for the ANC, especially as we head to the 2026 local government elections. Of course, the main focus that will be here, or that will be under the spotlight here at the 3-day Lekgotla, will be the issue of economic growth, how the ANC can come up with vigorous plans to grow the economy and create inclusive growth. But just to take us through the program of the day, what happened, what we can expect, and sum everything up for us is the ANC spokesperson, Mr. Lekgotla. So Zuko, today, the first day of the ANC NEC, Lekgotla is done and dusted. Take us through everything that actually happened behind, closed doors. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kotongwana gave a presentation. Please take us through what was said.
Okay, so you recall we started live with the president giving a political overview, and the president emphasized the 3 elements of what we've got to take seriously as an outcome of what the people of South Africa are telling us. Fix the national economy, fix your governance systems, especially local government, ensure the stability of service delivery provision, fix your ANC. People say we don't see your structures on the ground, we only see you around election time, find a way around it. So flowing from that directive by the president, the Secretary General gave once again an elaboration on the elections results and where we were hit. Hence we now know that the economy is broadly the issue that you are dealing with. The urban working class is in crisis, and they are deserting the ANC at the polls, and they voted, including for parties that are very far away from working class politics, as a protest vote. So that's the first of the SG gave that report. Then we got presentations from the economic cluster. So the chairperson of the Economic Transformation Committee and Comrade Lekgotla gave an account of the state of the national economy, the state of the fiscus, and what room for maneuver exists at that level, and what do we need to do from the front of fiscal strategy in order to be able to respond to the problems that exist. Then we also got a presentation from the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation on the proliferation of burning platforms. So basically the crime, the water, the service delivery, all related electricity and so on, so that we can have an understanding of what are the issues that must be attended to as soon as the other day, and not wait for the economy to work. And then that included an analysis of the ANC manifesto priorities, the GNU statement of intent, the GNU cabinet Lekgotla outcomes, the opening of parliament address by the president, and how do we all put wheel on the shoulder to get the ball rolling. And and then we agreed that we will tackle the issue of the discussions in commissions tomorrow.
I'm also particularly interested in the interventions that the ANC will be making in various municipalities, hung municipalities. You've already cited earlier on the interventions that you made in eThekwini by appointing Cyril Ramaphosa as the mayor there. Let's also move to the city of Johannesburg, and I'm asking this because you know very well the ANC leadership in Gauteng was actually supposed to meet with Action SA leader today, Mr. Herman Mashaba, on the issue of the removal of Mayor Kabelo Kwamanda. On Friday, a provincial secretary had said that the ANC had actually had an agreement with that he was supposed to be the caretaker mayor. How far those talks, do you know anything about those talks? And this coming week, can we possibly see a person like Dada Morero elected as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg?
The president made an undertaking in public that the coalition's task team of the ANC has been instructed to go to the city of Johannesburg as a start to understand what best do we do to improve the situation. The city is in a terrible state. Its finances are not okay. Its capacity to render services has been compromised. And therefore, the ANC has got to do something about it. As you said, we did it in eThekwini, we'll do it in the city of Johannesburg. But it's important to understand that the people responsible for that intervention is the Secretary General's office. If the provincial leadership is having conversations with their counterparts provincially, that's okay. But the decision will be arrived at on the basis of a decision, of an analysis made by the National Executive Committee. Of course, we will meet with the provincial leadership as well to consider what options they think they are viable. What we will not do, because we're in Lekgotla, we're ending on Tuesday, we're not going to say this week or the other week, but the committee is definitely going to sit as soon as possible. By the end of August, I can confidently tell you that something would have happened to stabilize the city of Johannesburg, especially given the fact that even to finance their operational expenditure, they had to raise a 2.5 billion rands loan, and in order to sustain parts of their capital expenditure projections, they had to raise a loan. So it tells you that already there are problems, and the rate of the rates that people are paying are already quite high. And if you are already in a revenue crunch, but your rates are high, that tells you that the fiscal strategy that the city has been following is not sustainable, and the ANC has got to act.
Mr. Kotlimpi, thank you so much for your time. Of course, my colleague Samgelo Masego will be here tomorrow to actually further cover the remaining days of the ANC NEC Lekgotla. Of course, it actually concludes on Tuesday, Oliver. So tomorrow is another day. And of course, Team SABC News will keep you updated with the latest in this regard. So that said, it's back to you in studio.
Natasha, Phiri, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. We'll bring you more on that as that develops over the next coming days.